We got everybody now. Good evening, everybody. First, before we start, just say who we've been joined by today. We have obviously Councilwoman Felicia Porter, Director Matt Ronis. We have our fire chief, our police commissioner, Delegate Young is here. We also have other folks from MONSE and Mark and Rick. We are here to gather today in Brooklyn on the 1 year anniversary of the Brooklyn Day mass shooting for a day of healing for this community, as we continue to work in partnership with the residents in this community about healing from an event that we saw in Baltimore like no other, and that we never want to see happen to again in any neighborhood. These residents of Brooklyn are very resilient. They're very strong. We built deep partnership with them over the past year, but we know that is going to be ongoing work that happens each and every day to continue to make sure that we're building this neighborhood back in a way, talking through the trauma, making sure there's accountability, making sure that folks have access to resources and everything they need. And we're here today to heal, and celebrate the resilience of this community. Councilwoman?
Thank you, sir. Echoing Mayor Scott, this is a day of transformation, a day of redefining what Brooklyn Day has been in the past. There are so many community members here to support this healing event. They want change in their community. They want healing in their community. And this is exactly what this event is about. It's about transforming and reshaping the narrative of Brooklyn Day from last year, the tragedy that existed with those families, and how this community, this resilient community, is moving forward. Thank you, sir.
Start here with questions, WJZ.
Mayor, if you could speak to the people responsible for taking the lives of pilots and Leah 1 year later, what would you say to them?
I would tell them that they're cowards, and I would tell them that your basic petty conflict should not result in someone losing their life and dozens of others being shot, and that they have a duty to make sure that they, as they try to reclaim their life, right, that they have a duty to say that they're sorry for what they've done, but also do as so many other people who have been in that similar situation, then turn their life to working to make sure that no one else makes the same mistakes that they made. Hold on, Mackenzie, that's kind of loud.
We've seen a lot of pushback and criticism in light of what we heard from the Baltimore Police Department in terms of the disciplinary actions. Argues that the 12 officers were scapegoats, brings up Safe Streets workers who, as of right now, have not faced any disciplinary actions. Do you believe that there is more room for accountability for all city agencies or entities and employees that were here that day?
I'll say this again, Mackenzie, no one's being scapegoated. As I said last week, and I said that night and every day afterwards, everybody that had a duty to do something, that should have done something, that didn't do anything, will be held accountable. I appreciate what the folks who did that investigation did into BPD. We stand by them. We know that there's another part of that process, so that process is not complete, so I can't go into too much detail about that. And as I said to you last week, if we found out that more people, whether it's BPD or anywhere else, needs to be held accountable, they will, including more people who may have been out here shooting, which I don't want us to lose, right? There's been no further talk, especially in the media, about the fact that, yes, we've brought people to justice, but we know there are probably more, and we're not going to stop until we bring them in, because ultimately they're the ones responsible.
When it comes to the escalation policies that are now in place following what we saw happen last year, moving forward, what do you say to the community who look at Safe Streets and they know the work that they do and they believe that these people are here helping them, but they also see what happened last year? Is there some disconnect?
No, I don't think there's a disconnect. Spending a lot of time here in Brooklyn with the members of Safe Streets that work here. You all were here for the community meeting that we had last year, and you heard the community say out loud, very loudly, that they support their Safe Streets workers, and we're going to continue to work with them in every agency in the city to be better following what happened last year.
Going to go to WBAL next.
Mayor, with what's happened over the year and with the work that's been done here over the year, Some people even in the community, what happens next? They're wondering, okay, is the city going to continue on with what's going on here, or at this point, we've been here a year, what happens?
No, I don't think we're not going to stop. That deep relationship that we have here in this neighborhood, we're going to continue to work with those folks. I know that we still have 17 residents that are in under case management with MONSE. We're going to be here as long as we need to be here to help this neighborhood and the residents, more importantly, continue to heal, because healing from an event like that doesn't just stop after a year, Barry. It's going to be working with people, for many of them, probably for the remainder of their lives. And as long as I'm in city government, we're going to be focused on it.
What are you going to tell them? I guess as you go through and talk to the community members, what exactly do you want to say to them?
So I guess for me, Barry, this isn't about giving speeches, right? These folks are used to seeing me come around and be here in Brooklyn Homes. They're not looking for me to give a speech, right? They know that I come here to spend time with them, to hear what they need, to get things from them, but also just to be with them and be human and be a Baltimorean and let them know that they are seen by the chief executive officer of their city. This is not about some big speech for me. This is for us a continuation of what we have been doing in this neighborhood. For example, right behind you last summer, just randomly, I got a call from Sashi Brown and the Ravens last summer that said they wanted to pop up in Brooklyn and do something great for the community. And we did that right there behind you. We're going to continue to work with this neighborhood very deeply. This isn't about me. This is about them and making sure that they continue to get the resources that they need.
Jump to WMAR.
I see a number of resources and services out here for this 1 year anniversary of the shooting. Can you talk to us about some of the services that are needed or that are being fulfilled in the community year round ever since this has happened, and some of those continue?
Yeah, there's everything, and I'll let Director Mavronis go through, but I think we have to think about some of the things that we've had to do here, right? We've had to do victim services, relocation, helping people get jobs, right? Trauma care. People needed that kind of care as well. All of those things that we've been coordinating through MONSE and the team here on the ground who've been here working with them. I'll let Director Mavronis go into deeper detail.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the mayor more or less covered it, but that's exactly right. You know, we have healing resources here today. We're continuing to help with housing, connections to job training, employment, and really anything you can think of, and maybe connections with schools. As we've had people relocate, we want to make sure that we're helping navigate that process to making connections with their new school administrators and all of those components. And so our team is going to really be fulfilling any need they can, even when it means we have to work with other agencies internal to the city or external. But we've seen a range of needs come up in this community that have evolved over time, and we'll continue to be here to support them. Thank you.
Banner.
Mayor, this might be a question for you, might be a question for the police commissioner. We talked about criminal accountability. I think 5 people charged, 4 pled guilty. No one's pled guilty to killing anybody. No one's been charged with murder. Upwards of a dozen guns were found to be shot last year. What's the actual status of that investigation?
Well, I'll let the commissioner go into detail, but it's still ongoing, right? I think that we've proven, BPD has proven that they're going to continue and bring people to account. Our job, obviously, is to investigate, bring those people, turn them over to the other parts of the justice system. So I obviously can't speak to that, but I can speak to the fine work that our detectives have done and will continue to do for these folks who were recklessly shooting into this crowd. Commissioner?
Yeah, as far as the murder, we don't have enough evidence right now to be able to charge with the murder. They're still working on it and continuing to work on it. And as we make arrests throughout the city, we're constantly asking about any information that could lead back to any crimes. We just need that one break where somebody comes forward and says that they saw the individual actually shoot one of the 2 young people who lost their lives.
The Sun.
I think this is for the commissioner also. We heard some of the defense attorneys involved in the criminal cases kind of say this case relied a lot on video and not a lot of witnesses that were explaining like the story of what happened and why the shootings took place, and that person was saying the police department's lacking the relationships that would like turn people into witnesses who would be willing to. So I guess, do you have any comment about like the evidence in this case and what you think might be lacking?
I think that when someone says that the folks who were here, sorry, I'll wait. I got you. It's a Mustang, if anybody was asking. I think that when folks say that the witnesses here had an unwillingness to speak up, et cetera, I think they have to think about this from the human nature. When you have that amount of people out and you have that many guns being shot, people are trying to save themselves and their lives first, right? We have to understand that and understand what those folks who were also victims have been going through at that time. BPD is going to continue to try to build those relationships. We have those cameras for a reason. That's why every community meeting that myself and the commissioner go to, they ask us, can we get a CCTV camera to help and aid the detectives and aid the folks who are willing to be witnesses and step up in a case like this. But we have to be reminded what those folks were experiencing at that moment. And as someone who has been out on a large open space like that, when someone is fired into a crowd, trust me, you're not thinking about looking to see who's shooting. You're trying to save your life. All right.
Miss anyone?
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody.